Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
What is up? Welcome back to Tomahawk, and more importantly, welcome back to First Fucking Place. Dad is home.
I prefer you say daddy.
Daddy is home.
Yeah.
The Braves, as of this morning, are tied for first place in the National League East with the New York Mets. On June 1st, they were 10.5 games back. We have since played, I believe, at like 116 win pace.
117.
Yeah.
Yep.
And closed the entire fucking gap. While, by the way, the Mets have played 600 ball.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's there's a post on ESPN written by, it was a conglomerate post, so you know how they'll do kind of a subject with 6 questions they'll ask their various writers and contributors, and everybody kind of weighs in.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the most likely World Series matchup, bifurcated between AL and NL. Only one person voted for the Braves to make it to the series. 5 for the Mets, 9 for the Dodgers. And then down the list, you see NL MVP. Goldschmidt is by far and away the favorite there, which that makes sense.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, Arenado's on there, and then Mookie Betts. No
Austin Riley.
Austin Riley again.
Why would you have him?
Cy Young, even though he had a bad outing yesterday, Kyle Wright is the fucking Major League Baseball leader in wins, and he's got like a 2.70 ERA.
Yeah.
Not even on the fucking list. And then you go down to which teams will win the divisions. Will the Braves or Mets win the NL East? 15 people voted that the Mets would win. 2 voted that the Braves would win.
Sick.
There's no doubt in my mind that the Braves will win this division. Like they have the chutzpah, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the Mets are the fucking Mets. I love Ben Verlander. He's a very dear friend of mine. But he posted a clip from his show Flippin' Bats on Fox the other day. And I really hope that the Braves play the Astros in the World Series again, because we'll meet up in Houston, and I'm just going to slap him right in the face. He was like, this is not the same old Mets, you know, blah, blah, blah. And look, to you, like you said before, they have been playing decent baseball.
I mean, 600. I think they're on a 98 win pace, but
not good enough, right?
Yeah.
And it's if you look at their splits, they're not even, their offense is anemic.
And that's what we said a lot over the course of the year. They go through hot and cold streaks, and they rely on ball and play luck, essentially. They rely on dink and dunk rallies.
Which is like, you know, next year that might actually be effective when there's no shift.
The shift is limited.
But in the shift, that there's a reason everybody's focused on launch angle right now, and it's because hitting ground balls that means you're out.
Yeah.
Most of the time. There's a diminishing return on that strategy. So this is the same old Mets, and they've had some bad news today as well. Max Scherzer just got put on the 15-day injured list because of fatigue, I believe, in his left side.
Yeah.
Which is eerily similar to the thing that, you know, when they brought him back on short rest after a relief appearance last year.
The most unnecessary relief appearance.
And he had a totally dead arm. Taijuan Walker is day-to-day. He's banged up, and he's not been pitching well. Carrasco's not been pitching well. So they've got DeGrom, maybe Scherzer, and Bassett. They were really depending on having all 3 of those guys, if not 4, pitching elite level to make it through the playoffs.
Yeah, well, and that's probably why they are resting Scherzer right now.
I think so. The Astros are doing the same thing with Verlander right now. I don't think he's injured. I think they're just giving him rest.
Well, the Astros also have like a 12-game lead in their division.
Yeah. Yep.
And another thing, I don't know if you saw last night, Starlin Marte got hit on the hand with a pitch. Seems like it's a broken hand. They haven't talked about what the X-rays have shown.
That sucks. I really like Starlin Marte.
He's on my fantasy team.
He's a great player.
We're in the playoffs right now for that.
He's had that injury before, though. I think he had a metacarpal break a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That cost him like the last third of the
Dude,
season.
nothing drives me more insane than a player getting injured on a hit by pitch.
Yeah, it sucks.
Happened to Freddie a couple of years ago. Happened to Jason Hayward a couple of years before that for the Braves. And then happened to Harper this year, now probably Starling Marte this year.
I think it was actually last year because he played 64 games for Miami before being traded to Oakland and playing 56. So what is that, 120 games? He missed 42 games that year.
Yeah.
I think it was the last third of last season he missed.
Actually,
Fucking sucks, man. He's a good player. And he plays great defense.
speed, power.
Yeah, he hits for average. He's got a little pop in his bat. You know, he's going to pop you 15 or 20 home runs, but he steals, you know, probably 25 to 30. Smart base runner. He's always a value add to any team he's on. It sucks that he's probably going to miss the rest of the year if his hand's broken.
I mean, they're being really kind of like sketchy hush-hush with it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Marte is looking like he might. And he's probably been maybe the steadiest bat in their lineup. Alonso's been slumping lately. Lindor's been good, too. But, I mean, like, Marte, from what I was reading from the Mets fans last night, they were like, fuck, that guy, he was, like, kind of the steadiest bat in the lineup throughout the year. So that is a pretty big bummer.
Lindor has looked pretty good.
Lindor's like having his best offensive year in like 5 years.
Yeah. Well, power and RBI wise, his average is down to 265. But
yeah.
And then Vogelbach, who came over and did pretty well.
Hit a couple homers right off the bat.
Yeah, but he's hitting over the last 30 days. He's hitting 186. Over the last 15 days, he's hitting 050. He's 1 for his last 20.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I expect out of that guy.
I mean, he's just a big fat guy from the Pirates.
Yeah.
It was not. Yeah, I thought that was a bizarre move when they did it. It looks even more bizarre now. This, I will say, though, I know you are. If you remember on Monday Morning Recap last year, Ross asked us in like August or something, shortly after the trade deadline, the Braves were in second, and he was like, "Who do you think is going to win the division?" And me and you were both hands down like the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves. It's from here out after the moves he made with Soler, Peterson, all that, blah blah. The Braves, 100%. And you're basically there now as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see with the only downside I see for the Braves right now. They're going to San Francisco and to Seattle, then to San Francisco after they leave Oakland. Those are just the Braves actually play really well in San Francisco, so I'm not terribly worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, though, is kind of on the cusp, so they're going to be playing hard still maybe by then. It depends on how their next series go. If they get swept over the next 3 or 4 days, we might see a different San Francisco team. But we have their 4 and 5 in the rotation for the first 2 games, and then we have Rodon. So probably going to win both of those games, to be honest, because we're throwing Wright and Strider in those 2 games.
A little more worried about at Seattle because Seattle's is a playoff team and they're trying to make their first playoff series since like 2001 or something like that.
Yeah, and we're going. Fortunately, we only catch Robbie Ray in the tough part of their rotation. Then we have Kirby and Gonzalez. I'm not worried about those guys.
We don't catch Castillo.
No. So we're pretty fortunate there. Pretty fortunate in the San Francisco series. The guys seem pretty locked in. The one that worries me is Philly. The 7 games against Philly. Not that I'm necessarily worried about them, just that they're going to be playing their asses off.
Right.
Because San Diego is in a fucking free fall, just like they did last year.
God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, Philly's probably going to get that spot. So those are going to be 7 extremely competitive games.
And Harper's back.
And then Harper's back. And then right after, the good news is, after that second Philly series, which bookends, the 2 Philly series bookends the Nationals at home, which are just those should be free wins. And then there's at the Nationals after that series and at Miami to close out with the Mets in between there. So,
right.
It's not like we have back-to-back series after series that's super tough. It kind of flip-flops between good and bad, which is nice for us.
One thing I think, though, with this year as compared to last year, this to me is a lot more akin. This year's NL East is like last year's NL West. These are 2 like elite teams that are going to, I mean, this is going to be down to the wire. Someone's going to have to win like 104 games to win this division.
Yeah. This is 1992.
Yeah.
1993 rather. in the AL West and NL West. It was still the West.
It was the NL West. Yeah.
God, so stupid. How the fuck were the Braves in the West?
The NL West between the Giants and the Braves. Yeah.
I don't think the Giants. Well, shit, they really free fell the last.
They're pretty much out of it.
The last week and a half. Yeah, they're done. There's no way. Even in the, let's see in the wild card here. They are. Oof. Yeah, they're 8.5 game. Man, they really sucked this.
It's really just the Brewers and Padres fighting over that last spot.
Yeah. The Phillies are definitely going to be in unless they fucking. Well, it depends on how they play us, I guess. But
So the Phillies are tied with the Padres right now. So the Brewers can still make noise. I mean, the Brewers they have the rotation, right? Like they've basically just been playing like shit, probably worse than they should. So the Brewers are still a threat, but after that, it's done. The Braves and Mets are in the playoffs for sure. There is no fucking way that both of those teams are missing the playoffs.
No,
either of those teams are missing the playoffs.
They can't. I think they could lose 70% of their games.
Oh,
From
yeah.
here on out and still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mets have lost 3 in a row to the Pirates and Nats. They're playing right now.
They are up
They're
1-0 on the Pirates right now.
Yeah, they're up 1-0. Bryce Wilson is pitching, former Brave, for the Pirates. He actually looks decent today, but he's probably going to give up 5 runs. That's kind of how it goes with him.
Yeah.
And then Bassett is pitching, and he's been pretty good. So they're probably going to lose. The Mets will probably win this game. But they have
a doubleheader today, so in all likelihood, the Braves should win against Oakland today. We have Strider going in the day game at like 2:30, but the Mets they have a doubleheader, so they play the Pirates this evening as well.
Yep.
Chances are, by the end of the day, the Mets are back up a half game.
Yeah, if not a game and a half, if the Braves happen to lose, which
right.
I seriously doubt. I mean,
although last night's game, I turned that off at 9-9 because it was like 10:30, and I was like, I can't do this tonight. I'm just gonna go to bed.
I watched the entire game. I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, the guys that came in, when Jansen came in, a guy who doesn't throw sinkers, he actually was pretty effective.
Yeah,
and Chavez, who doesn't rely on sinkers but relies on stuff sliding out of the zone and stuff, he was pretty effective. I think everybody's sinker was flat last night.
Yeah.
Everybody's changeup was flat last night, and Kyle Wright can't pitch like that. You know what I mean?
No.
Kyle Wright with a flat sinker and changeup is basically Ian Anderson all year. You know what I mean? So it just turned into a softball game. And then Dylan Lee came in and he throws the same way. He's a lefty that throws a fucking 92 mile per hour sinker.
Right.
And it just hangs up and then
some fucking AAA Oakland player hits it out.
Gets fucking crushed.
But that was a wild game. By the way, love that Jesse Chavez is back.
Yeah.
So he was part of the trade that brought Iglesias over. Then he was so bad at Los Angeles that the Angels released him.
It kind of feels like when, what's his name? Who's the guy from the Buccaneers who took his jersey off and threw it away? And
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, remember when he went to the Raiders and he acted so crazy that they released him, then he went to the Patriots?
Yes.
I was like, that may have been on purpose. It kind of felt intentional, but I don't think Chavez did that.
But Chavez has thrown 3 scoreless innings so far for the Braves. There's just something about a Braves uniform that guy,
yeah.
I don't know. But I love that he's back. I think that makes our bullpen even better than it already was. We're going to talk about that more in a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fascinating race from here on out. We're all tied up more or less. Probably the Mets up a half game by the end of the day. Or the Braves up a half game if the Mets choke away one of these two against the Pirates. You never know. But, yeah, it's happened later than I thought it would. Because credit to the Mets for still playing very well, but man, the fucking Braves they're on another planet right now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because since we're in such a tight race, it almost doesn't feel like it because every loss has so much weight that you're like, fuck, we lost again. But then you look back and you're like, oh, we only lost twice in the last 2 weeks. So what am I complaining about?
I mean, this is as good as I've seen a team play, frankly.
They don't have any holes.
Well, the mouth and the butt. They're all dudes, so it's only the two.
That's true.
Yeah, they haven't. They've been challenged with some stuff, some distractions, like Ozuna's bullshit with Acuna and his knee, and stuff like that, and they just push through and keep playing hard, man. Like this is there is something to be said about like championship pedigree,
which they have now.
Yeah, they certainly do. They believe they're going to win every game.
Yeah,
and they are 36-18 in July and August, and 5-0 so far in September. So they're 41-18 in their last however many 59 games.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
pretty goddamn good.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah. Next up, we have a pretty hilarious story. Doug Gottlieb has retracted his story about Freddie Freeman's agent not telling Freeman about the Braves' last-minute offer. And I think this is a fun story because either way, an asshole loses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no love for Freeman's agent.
Close. No, that guy's a clown.
No love for him. But Doug Gottlieb fucking sucks.
Yeah, he does.
One of my least favorite, maybe my least favorite college basketball personality. Kind of just like a shitty wannabe. He's like halfway between wanting to be Colin Cowherd and Clay Travis. Like, just a huge fucking tool. I can't stand listening to him announce college basketball.
Not a fan of his face either.
It's not a good face. Not a good face. He played at Oklahoma State, which I don't like. They always have annoying little white guards. Dan, who was that? Their fucking really dinky-looking guard from a couple years ago? Oklahoma State. Peyton something. He just looked like he crawled out of a trailer park. Anyway, Gottlieb essentially just tweeted like hearsay. Mm-hmm. If you remember, like he said that Close never informed Freeman, like I said, about the final Braves offer because Close wanted more money or one has got to be in LA, whatever. Gottlieb tweeted that. Turns out that was a complete lie. Totally fabricated. Believe it or not, the guy who went to school for basketball is not a good journalist.
Yeah, I wonder, so his my ultimate investigation into this matter confirms that KC Close did.
That's the funniest line. Your ultimate investigation.
Like, you mean like just asking the people involved?
Yeah.
He apologized and deleted his original tweet. Is this like an allocution? Like, is he Casey Close probably had his attorneys contact him like, hey, you delete this shit and apologize now or we're going to sue you for the rest of your life.
Yes, that's literally what happened.
And this is the allocution phase of that, which is really funny. I mean, who does Gottlieb work for? Does he just do his own show?
He's Fox.
Oh, so he should be fired, right?
That was a pretty bad fuck up.
Yeah, like how does he still have a job?
Yeah, that's pretty. It's a pretty dog shit move. Also, why is he reporting on baseball? What does he know anything about Major League Baseball?
I don't know why he even exists.
I don't.
In the first place.
I don't understand how Fox was like, get Doug Gottlieb a fucking show.
Yeah, who knows?
Get this man on the mic now. It's a weird situation all around. That story, we were pretty pissed off when it happened. And I still don't think Casey Close necessarily had Freeman's best interests in mind.
Well, no, but this does kind of redirect my ire towards Freddie Freeman, who
he fired Close, by the way.
Yeah, I always thought he was. Look, he tried to play. Everybody tries to play the fucking the sympathy card at some point, like, oh, I got duped. Or notice that Freeman didn't come out and make a public statement about any of this stuff.
Yeah,
he could have easily said, yeah, he told me about that offer, and I turned it down because I wanted more money.
Right.
Because that's the truth.
Right.
The truth is that Freddie Freeman was willing to abandon Atlanta and the Atlanta fan base to go to L.A. Mm-hmm. That's the end. Like, that's the end of the conversation now. And that's fine, but how about you grow a pair of nuts and just say that out loud instead of being a bitch about it this whole time and letting people think that this is what happened.
Yeah.
That's what Freddie Freeman did. Like, he may think, oh, I don't have to say anything about that. Yeah, you do. You're a professional public figure. That's your job. Whether or not you're an athlete or some other form of celebrity, you're a professional public figure, and that is part of your brand. The decisions you make and why are part of your brand.
Yeah. It is actually pretty, like, I still don't know about the negotiation stuff and stuff like that, but if Freeman was informed of that final Braves offer, and he knew that, obviously, and he didn't come out and immediately say, no, that's not what happened. Mm-hmm. When this story went fucking bananas all over Twitter, everyone was asking about it, so on and so forth.
Fired Close. Why?
I don't know why. That is an interesting question as well.
This all reeks of Freddie Freeman being like immature and incompetent, to be honest.
I mean, he's a goofy guy,
Mm.
which I love him for, but that comes with other, character traits, I guess, as well.
Sure.
Being a sweet, goofy guy. And he always struck me as naive, a little aw-shucksy.
I'm not terribly concerned about it because, Matt Olson is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a big Matt Olson fan.
Yeah. And
hit a fucking bomb last night.
Yes, he did. And he's going to be here for a while.
Yeah. I'll take it. Not too mad about it, although I will always love Freddie, but that is a very sketchy situation. Real quick, got some ads. Got to talk about MyBookie, as in mybookie.com. It is the place we make all our bets. Look, it's college football season. The NFL's starting this week. You can still get some great player props on the MLB if you want to do that. You can bet anything at MyBookie, really, and that includes, baseball, which we're talking about now. Right now, if you go to mybookie.com and use the promo code Drinking Bros, you will double your first deposit up to $1,000. So if you put in $1,000, they'll give you $1,000. If you just put in $50, they'll give you an extra $50 to play with. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Look, the weekends are fun. You got to make that App State Texas A&M game a little more interesting, something like that. Put some money on it. Win some money. Tell everyone how smart you are. They also have casinos on there and everything. It is the best place to make sports more exciting or more interesting. Give you a little juice. It's a good time to even lay a future on the MLB playoffs. I mean, pretty much all the playoff teams are settled at this point. Seeding is still up in the air, but that's about it. So you could get some good odds if you think you have faith in the Yankees, or the Mets aren't going to win the division now, but so that makes their odds a little longer, but you like that pitching so much, lay a future on that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Go to mybookie.com today. Use the promo code Drinkin' Bros to double your first deposit. Mybookie.com. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere.
If you have faith in the Yankees, I recommend not doing that because they have not played well for a very long time.
They're not the team they were in May.
Mm-mm.
Which at that point people were like, is this team better than the 98 Yankees? Which no,
they are not.
Not at all.
They had a weekend series with the Rays and they scored 3 runs and Aaron Judge scored all 3 of them. So
is it 3 homers?
No.
Just 1.
I think it was just 1.
Fuck. That is
not great.
That's not ideal. What is ideal though, and I looked this up because I was just kind of curious. I actually wasn't even going to put this on the rundown at first, but I saw a post on Reddit that I guess the Braves have 3 starters in the top 10 of strikeouts in the National League. Morton, Wright, and Strider.
Not surprised by. Well, I'm kind of surprised by Morton, I guess.
I'm surprised by Wright. I mean, Morton is a strikeout guy. Morton had the most.
Really? I guess he's been healthy all year, so that makes sense.
Wright was 10th with 150. Fried wasn't even in there, which was he's not a huge strikeout guy, but you would think just by Wright being on there was interesting. But anyway, so I was like, interesting. I wonder how the Braves rank in strikeouts for the league, because I didn't expect that, because Wright in particular doesn't seem like a big strikeout guy, and then Strider just hasn't. He strikes out a million people, but he hasn't been a starter all year. So right. I was like, okay, let's take a look. Turns out we knew the Braves pitching was good. I certainly knew they were good. This Braves pitching staff is absolutely positively made for the playoffs. I'm going to run down some stats for you, and if you get an erection, you don't have to apologize.
I already have one. It's fine.
Fair enough. The Braves pitching staff, this is starters and relievers combined, so the whole staff, leads Major League Baseball in K per 9 at 9.65. So they're striking out, if you round up, 10 batters a game.
I mean, that's like the entire team hitting 280, right, comparatively.
Yeah.
Because 9.5 plus Ks per 9 inning, that's in the upper, 5% probably of Major League Baseball.
That's first.
No, I'm saying for an individual.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty high.
Braves starters also lead the majors with a K per 9 of 9.3. 9.33. Wright, Morton, and Strider, like I said, all in the National League's top 10 strikeout leaders. Braves relievers also lead the league in Ks per 9 with 10.18.
So there's 11 dudes in all of Major League Baseball with a K per 9 of 9.5 or higher.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like 11 pitchers out of all the pitchers in baseball. So that's one pitching staff worth. So that's 1/30th of the pitchers in Major League Baseball, not including all the people that have come up and gone down so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild.
What that means is we have a bunch of fucking rally killers on the team, right? We have a bunch of guys who, when you need a strikeout, they can get a goddamn strikeout. Now, sometimes high strikeout rate is part of the 3 true outcomes, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give up strikeouts, but you strike people out, but maybe you give up hard hit balls, something like that. The Braves, it turns out, are second in the major leagues in homers allowed per 9 at .83.
It's a good combination.
Yeah.
Right? Like usually when you see a high strikeout rate, it is accompanied by a high home run rate. That's typical.
Yeah, especially if there's power involved, right? They're gonna make harder contact. They're gonna be just squaring the ball up or missing completely. The Braves,
or you have like a crazy breaking pitch, and every now and again you hang it,
like a Brad Lidge slider situation. Yeah. The Braves starters are third in the majors with a .92 homer per 9, and Braves relievers are sixth in the majors with .85 homer per 9. So 2 top 6 units there. So they're striking everyone out. They're not giving up home runs. Now, I will say the one weakness, they're in the middle of the league in walks per 9. The starters are unfortunately actually in the bottom third of the league. They're 21st.
Well, that's mostly Ian Anderson, to be honest. He was walking like 5 dudes a game when he was starting,
and he's probably not going to be pitching in the playoffs. I don't know why he would be pitching in the playoffs this year, which is a bummer because I like him, but it is what it is. So they're offering up 3 walks per 9. The starters are for the year. And the bullpen, however, they are 6th in the major leagues in walks per 9. So they're a lot higher. I forgot to write down the number.
I'm a lot more concerned about that. Bullpen walks.
Than starter walks, I am too.
And they also lead the league in XFIP, and they're second in FIP. So, I mean, considering how good that goddamn defense is, the fact that their starters are third in XFIP and then 8th overall for the team. And then you have, left field is a bit of a black hole, to be honest. I don't think Ozuna should even make the postseason roster. I don't know. Keep him around for a pinch hitter probably. I would rather have Contreras or Grissom out there, to be honest. Even if they're not like
Grossman's fine out there.
Yeah, Grossman's fine, but he can't hit. I mean, there's no way Grissom could be worse than Ozuna.
Right, in left
Honestly,
field.
yes.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. We put Austin Riley out there in 2019.
Yeah.
And he's certainly Ozuna's equal in left field.
Yeah, which is not great.
Yeah. But XFIP, expected fielding independent pitching, by the way, they're like 2 points lower on that than their actual ERA, which means they're not even pitching as well as the computers think they should be.
Well, they have so much, especially the first, if you remember the first 20 games of the year, it was all broken bat singles over and fucking over.
We can exit velo to death.
We've had a couple of runs like that. Those games, before we went on that streak, those games, I think it was against Arizona, we got fucking just bunted to death. Not really bunting, but broken bats, dribblers through the middle and shit like that. And, it's going to happen sometimes. Just the way it is. You hope it doesn't happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. You hope you don't have another Yadier Molina softie over.
That's the thing, though. You need a little bit of luck. In any, you need good health. You need fucking a couple of balls to bounce your way and shit, a couple of calls to go your way to win it. It's hard to win a fucking title.
You're absolutely not going to win a World Series title without being in the black as far as luck is concerned.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not going to win it with bad luck. So everybody needs a little help every now and then. Braves relievers are also 7th in WHIP. what fucking more do you want out of this staff? I mean, this is just a brilliantly constructed staff.
Yeah, especially considering some of the tumult we've had in the rotation, right? The first April and May were not great for the rotation.
No.
Charlie Morton sucked. Ian Anderson, who's not even on the team anymore, sucked.
And you had like guys like Bryce Elder popping up, and who's the other one who had a
Kyle Muller?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Strider didn't hit the rotation till what, June?
I think so, yeah.
But now, I mean, it's just gas. And by the way, most of these bullpen stats don't even include. I mean, most of them are most of those numbers were accumulated when Will Smith was in the bullpen and Raziel Iglesias was not.
Yeah, and it's much better now. The flip side of that is Kenley Jansen. Last night he looked great, which is interesting because everybody else looked like shit.
I know, right?
It's like, what the fuck,
He just
dude?
does what you don't expect him to.
But for him, it's a release point issue. He's not a natural pitcher. He hasn't been doing this his whole life, and he throws multiple. He throws 2 different types of cutters and a running fastball and a curveball, right?
Mm-hmm. It has a interesting release and wind up that kind of.
But you know what he wasn't doing last night? I noticed he wasn't nearly as exaggerated with all of his bullshit as he typically is.
I hate his wind up so fucking much.
It wasn't. He didn't spend as much time the hip jerk or whatever the fuck it is that he does. It wasn't as deliberate and exaggerated, and then even the glove up in the air and the ball down wasn't as exaggerated. So maybe he's more relaxed.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened, but last night he looked good. We'll see how that goes, but he has not looked good so far in the second half of the season.
The second half numbers are goddamn abysmal. He has a 4.02 ERA, which is bad. But what really blows my fucking mind, 6.32 walks per 9.
Yeah. And he pitches 1 inning per game, so that's like he's walking somebody almost every time he goes out there.
Literally.
For a closer, you can't do that.
And he, by the way, doesn't he still doesn't give up a lot of hits. And when he does, I did notice I think against the blown save on the Cardinals, definitely the blown save the other night, he had some softies, right, that got through, beat the shift, whatever. That's going to happen, sure. But the walks, the hit batsman, I mean, my God, a 1.53 whip is – you can't have that on your closer. You have that on the guy you put in when you're up or down 10 runs.
Well, it's like, he's got a 153 whip as a closer. So if you add to that his delivery, if you're anywhere, if anybody in the first 1 or 2 hitters before he has 2 outs is a speed threat, a hit or a walk is a double.
Yep.
Right? And then the other half, the other 0.53 in whip, is going to be a hit, and that's a run.
Yep.
And if you give up a run every other game when you're a 1-inning pitcher, that's a 4.50 ERA.
Yeah.
Untenable. It cannot be like that. It looks like based on the FIP and XFIP, the defense has actually been bailing him out a little bit, right?
He should be much worse according to the XFIP. Like his ERA is 4, his XFIP is 5.5. So he should be a run and a half worse.
I didn't realize that he had. I think he's now 32 for 38 in saves.
Yeah,
something like that.
He had a brilliant first half.
Yeah,
whip under 1, all kinds of shit. I mean, I think he blew his first save of the season and then was more or less untouchable.
The Mets are now up 5-0. They're definitely going to win both of these games because DeGrom is pitching, unless DeGrom gets hurt.
Right. Yeah.
Like matter of fact, if you want to go to, this show will air too late, but just know that I went to my bookie and bet DeGrom's strikeout over whatever it is. I don't even care what it is. But yeah, he's had a rough time lately. I'm not terribly concerned with that, to be honest, because
you don't have any concerns about Jansen. I guess better to slump now than in October.
That's part of it. Yeah, slump now, and last night he seemed extremely relaxed and looked really good. Like he was very sharp last night.
And you know what?
Maybe he turned it around. But to be honest, having Iglesias on the team, I don't really give a shit if Jansen even makes the postseason roster. To be honest, it's one less arm, and I would feel a lot more comfortable with him there, especially if Kirby Smart doesn't start actually pitching like he used to, but, it's not that huge of a deal.
I will say that one nice thing about him doing well last night and looking relaxed last night is I know it was only the A's, but it was a one-run game, and they knew the Mets had lost.
Yeah.
So there is pressure there.
It's like that for some of these dudes. Some of these guys can't operate unless everything is on the line.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's that. Now, there's some more stuff going on here. We're in a playoff hunt, so we got to play the best players. We don't have the opportunity yet to start
resting
anybody or sorting out lineup stuff or trying people in new positions or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, but there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on. One, I assumed earlier in the season that Harris would win Rookie of the Year, but I'm not so sure it's not going to be Strider.
They're tied dead even in WAR.
Yeah. But Harris has played a little over half a season. He's played like about 90 games now, I think. Here are his extrapolated over 162 game season. These are his numbers. He's hitting 309. Actually, after last night, I think he's hitting 310. 109 runs, 42 doubles, 28 home run, 92 RBI, and 29 steals. 74% of his bats have been in the 9 hole so far. And that's what he's done with that. Plus, he's played elite defense. So
almost took a home run last night.
Yeah.
Which would have been one of the best catches I've ever seen.
It was pretty impressive. Now, Strider is he's equally as impressive. I mean, if you run his numbers over the course of it's harder to gauge because he started out as a reliever.
He's at 18. So if you just took his starting numbers, he's had, I think, 18 starts.
17. Tonight's 18.
Okay.
Today,
okay.
Rather, 18. Yeah.
So he's at 17. So that's about half a season.
Yeah. So he's if you run him over the course of a full season, it's like 18-8 with 350 strikeouts and 230 innings. You know what I mean? So I honestly don't know how do you decide between those two guys.
This is gonna sound a little hippy dippy participation trophy, but just let them split it.
Yeah, I mean that would be interesting for the Braves as an organization to be like, yeah, we definitely have the two best fucking players in under 21. Actually, we have the 3 best players. Well, I guess Strider's not under 21. He's like 23.
Yeah, it's Grissom and Harris. There's one other dude who's 21 or under on another team. I can't remember.
It's Julio Rodriguez.
Okay, yeah. Who's pretty dope.
He is very good, yeah. So Grissom is now through 25 games, 100 at-bats. So about a fifth of a season, right? He's hitting 337.
I think he have 3 or 4 hits last night?
He had 4 last night.
Jeez.
Yeah. He's hitting 337. He's played in 25 games. He's had a hit in all of them but 6. So he's not like it's not like he goes 4 for 4 and then 0 for 4.
Right.
He gets a hit in every fucking game. Unless he starts to slump, I don't see how you can sit him. But Contreras, over the last 30 days, is hitting 300 with 6 home runs. Darno, over the last 30 days, is hitting 308 with 4 home runs. They've by the way, they have 34 home runs out of those 2 guys.
Yeah. Darno, by the way, has to have his bat in the lineup every day.
Yeah.
That is because he's one of the dudes that's
he gets hot this time of year, especially.
Yeah. Oh, he's
we missed him last year when he was hurt down the stretch a little bit, but by the time he came back, instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And he is arguably, you can make a case for Dansby or Riley, but Darno would be in the conversation too for the smartest bat in the lineup.
Yeah. I don't know, Riley. Well, Riley is just more physically talented, I guess. So
For sure.
maybe that doesn't count.
But I mean, don't you always
like that in his last at bat last night? I don't know if you were watching it. The dude throws. I don't remember who the pitcher was, but he throws a slider low and away, off the plate. It's 1-0. There's a runner on third, by the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he throws a fastball in, and off the plate, 2-0. You got the hitter. I don't think he meant to miss with both pitches. He was definitely trying to hit that inside. He meant to throw a ball on the first pitch, trying to get Riley to chase.
Yeah.
Threw the fastball inside. It was a running fastball. Wanted to get it on his hand so you would, weak contact on the infield, preferably so the run doesn't score. And then your next pitch, obviously, is some kind of off-speed or breaking pitch, slightly up in the zone, so it interrupts his timing, but it's also up, so he pops it up on the infield, and the run doesn't score. It's a smart way to pitch. Riley crushed it because he was looking for it because he's fucking smart.
Right.
You know what I mean? Happened to be a line drive to the right fielder, right? He didn't get under it enough, but scored the run. He did his job there. It's hard to argue with that. Darno does the same thing, though. You can see him he's a catcher. That's why catchers typically make the best managers.
Mm-hmm.
Like La Russa was a catcher, Joe Torre was a catcher, Bobby Cox was a catcher. I don't know if I need to say anymore.
Right.
Because those are the three best managers in history. Actually, Joe Torre is a third baseman.
No, he's catcher.
Didn't he go to third base later in his career?
Probably.
Or I think of Jim Fergosa. Maybe it's Fergosa that did that.
I'm sure Torrey saw time elsewhere, but he was primarily he won his MVP as a catcher.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Yeah, was it 72 with the Cardinals or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Anyways, Darno does the same thing. He's a catcher. He's a smart guy. You see him when a guy tries to pitch him in reverse. You throw him a fucking breaking pitch out of the plate, and it's like he was looking for it the whole time. Or I don't think. I think that Riley is talented enough to not get the pitch he expected and still hit it hard.
Yeah.
Darno, I think, relies a lot more on his brain. So maybe he is, in that way, smarter. But
it's just in terms of if it's a situational thing, right? You just need a slap the other way to walk it off or something like that. You probably want Riley, Dansby, or Darno up there.
Yeah, well, now we've got a bit of it's a problem that's, I suppose, good to have. We got to figure out what's going to happen in left field. Rosario is not hitting enough to be out there.
No.
Grossman is not hitting enough. If it's against a left-handed pitcher, I wouldn't mind seeing Grossman out there.
Well, and that's the only reason we got him.
Yeah, but is Grossman better out there against a left-handed pitcher than Vaughn Grissom will be if Ozzie Albies is at second base?
Right.
Or if Ozzie Albies is at DH, is he better hitting left-handers than William Contreras? The answer is obviously no to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's going to be a problem here pretty soon because Ozzie's probably going to be back end of next week.
Yeah.
He's been taking at bats at Gwinnett since Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was 0 for 3 in his first game, or maybe it was Friday. 0 for 3 Friday. Saturday he was 2 for 3. I don't remember the rest, but he's getting close to being back. Now you've got a ton of options, and I guess you just have the opportunity at that point to go with whomever the hot bat is. But in no way do I think it's a good idea to remove Vaughn Grissom from the lineup. And I don't think you can remove William Contreras from the lineup either.
You can't.
So one of those dudes has to go to left field. It's
Right.
not going to be Ozzie. And I would be a lot more comfortable letting Ozzie DH.
Yeah, because Contreras. Well, first off, Contreras is a fucking catcher.
Yep.
And yeah, you don't want to do that. It does need to be Grissom and left, more or less.
Probably,
and you're right that he can't. Grossman is a fine fielder. He's totally mediocre. He's not as good as Duvall was. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he's fine. Ozuna's fucking terrible.
I keep Ozuna for a pinch hitter against left-handed.
Yeah.
At the most.
Yeah.
If not, just cut him entirely and get him off the team. But yeah, there's a lot of options there, and it's going to be an interesting rest of the season to see how all these things line up. Colin McHugh, in the bullpen had a couple of bad outings, but he's come back and pitched nicely. Tyler Matzik had a stretch in the middle of the season where he didn't look too great. He's back on it now. A.J. Minter has only had like 2 bad games all season.
Yeah, one against the Cardinals recently that was really bizarre. But I mean, you're gonna get tagged sometimes.
Yeah, if you were perfect every single timeout, I would be highly suspicious.
Right. You almost want someone who's blown a save.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wasn't Hader perfect last year before Freddie took him deep?
Yep. I think that was the only home run he gave up in the last 2 seasons against a left-hander, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
It was like 70 appearances in a row without a home run against a lefty.
Yeah, and that just means you're just waiting for the worst possible time for it to happen.
And I know we've already talked about the rotation a little bit, but Max Fried has been pitching extremely well. Charlie Morton is on it.
Oh, man.
Spencer Strider, he's only out of all of his starts, he's had like 1.5 bad ones. One of them he kind of dinked around a little bit.
By the Mets.
Yeah, but he had one other bad start. I think it was against the Rockies or some shit.
Yeah, it was
like
some
that.
dumb game.
But Kyle Wright got – the thing that kind of bothered me about last night was in the 5th inning, he was nowhere close to the plate. And he's had trouble –
That was bad.
He's had trouble in the past where he gets into trouble and just completely loses his stuff.
Yeah.
But last night was a softball game. So I'm hopefully, Kranitz is just like, hey, we don't give a fuck about that shit that happened last night.
You got 17 wins. You're pitching brilliantly.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Speaking of this embarrassment of fucking riches we have, and literally every – except for left field, which we actually have pretty good goddamn options for. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
There are no holes on this team, and now Mike Soroka just threw 4 scoreless innings, not at Rome, at Gwinnett against AAA batters.
Right.
And it would have been more scoreless innings. I think he gave up 1 hit, no runs through 4, but it was a 4-hour rain delay. They didn't bring it back after. So he's going to pitch again. That was on Friday or Saturday. He's going to pitch again later in this week, and I expect him to be in the majors after that. So we've got like 5 all-star quality starters. We'll see how Soroka comes back and what shape he's in and stuff like that. But Fried, perennial all-star. Soroka, all-star. Spencer Strider, all-star. Kyle Wright, all-star. Like you have, and Morton is pitching the best he's pitched in years right now.
And he's Charlie fucking Morton.
Like, what the fuck?
This is unbelievable. I have never rooted for a team in any sport that is currently as deep and young.
Well, look at this. So before last night, which I just chalked that up to being
It was a weird game.
the ball was flying no matter who was throwing it, except for Kenley Jansen.
Right, of all people, right.
But before last night, Wright in his last 4 starts was 4-0 with a 1.04 ERA.
Right.
Max Fried in his last 4 starts, 3-1 with a 1.80 ERA. Charlie Morton 2-0 with a 3.68 ERA in his last 5 games and 41 Ks and 29.1 innings. And then, of course, Strider in his last 5 starts, 3-1 with a 2.28 ERA and 41 Ks and 27 innings. That's 4, and now you're adding a guy whose career ERA is 2.60. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
Just absolutely, man, it's fucking.
I don't know that I've ever seen a top-to-bottom rotation like this before.
I haven't. Not top to bottom like that.
Especially, it's like you had Glavin, Maddox, Smoltz back in the day.
I would say the best rotation Atlanta had during that run was probably 97 when it was Maddox, Glavin, Smoltz, and then Denny Nagel was really brilliant that year.
Yeah. But even like the 5th starter would be whomever.
Oh, you know who it was for a little bit? Jason Schmidt.
Yeah, Schmidt was good.
Yeah.
But not he didn't really get good until they all left, to be honest.
Then we shipped him to Pittsburgh, but then he got really good in San Francisco, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I've never having 5 legit starters like that, and then you have Oda Rizzi. So Oda Rizzi and Morton specifically, as we've mentioned before on this show, have extensive experience being the second starter basically in a game or the first guy out of the bullpen for long relief in the playoffs specifically on the same team actually.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, by the end of September, we're going to have 4 all-star starters and 2, guys with a lot of playoff experience for long relief. Like I just don't, without some bad luck or people go like slumping terribly, I don't see how this team gets beaten in a series.
Right.
I mean, when's the last time? How many series have they lost since June? It can't be many because they've only lost like 18 games.
They lost a series to the Dodgers, lost a series to the Cardinals, lost 2 series to the Mets. So that might be it.
Well, we'll see. You know, the best laid plans of mice and men.
Right. I mean, you know, the October's fucked up. We're Braves fans, so we've obviously seen many what we thought was a brilliant team fucking lose. But they didn't last year. And they're even better this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a team that won and then got better and came back and lost. I don't know that's – not sure I've seen that. The only time I remember seeing it is with the Warriors, but they all got injured.
Yeah.
Like 2 of their main guys got injured.
I think those 2019 Astros were pretty fucking good. That was 2 years later, though.
Well, they maybe shouldn't have won in 2017.
True.
To be honest.
Yeah, it's been a minute,
say.
man. It really – like you had like a weird situation where I can't imagine that the 2011 like Giants were worse than the 2010 Giants.
It was the same team.
Right.
But I think
actually the Braves are in a really similar position to that Giants dynasty where that 2010 team won when the vast majority of them were really young.
Yeah. The 2012 one I think was the most impressive.
Yeah.
Or the best team. Maybe not the most impressive win, but the best team for sure. And then the what was it, 14?
Yeah, they beat the Royals.
Yeah, that one was
that was just Bumgarner.
Bumgarner and Brandon Belt had a big series, I think, when he took over for Homeboy. What was the other guy's name? We've had him on the show a bunch of times. God damn it. Hold on.
Swisher? No.
First baseman.
Swish plays first.
Well, yeah, he did, but
I don't
Aubrey Huff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Aubrey Huff fucking destroyed in 10 and 12, I believe, and then I think he was gone. Actually, maybe it was 12 that Belt took over for him halfway through the season. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that's right.
Belt's been there a minute.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously you want to win the championship every year, but it is kind of weird, like, I still feel restless because now I feel almost like the Chiefs, like a Chiefs fan probably felt when they won their first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like,
that.
okay, like we have a chance at a dynasty. Let's fucking make it a dynasty. We have all the pieces right fucking here.
Well, the good news is, you don't see these guys. Well, one, you've got an injection of fresh young talent.
Mm-hmm.
Strider, Harris, and fucking Vaughn Grissom. And you've got a guy, Jansen, who's, I don't know how he feels about his tenure in L.A., but that one COVID ring they got, out of the many opportunities they had to win rings, I think he's probably pretty hungry for it as well.
Yeah.
And, there are some guys back who weren't available last year, like Ronald Acuna and Ozuna.
Yep.
Not that I give a fuck about Ozuna, but, there's a lot of there are a lot of people on this team that didn't get to be part of it last year that are hungry to win. So I think that's probably the difference. You know what I mean?
And honestly, if Soroka comes back.
Yeah, same with him, yeah.
It's another one.
Yep.
Soroka, I guess Wright pitched in last year's World Series, so he doesn't technically count because he was a big part of winning that World Series last year. In particular, the World Series. He may have seen the mound in the NLCS. I don't remember. But he, for all intents and purposes, started that World Series game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. So let's do it, man. Let's make a fucking dynasty. And by the way, I just want to say that now the Braves are back in first place, although that won't be true in a couple hours. Fun fact, I don't know if I've said it on the show before. I'm sure you probably know because you're a Braves fan. The Atlanta Braves have won the NL East more than all the other NL East teams combined since '95, since this current iteration. And I actually think they have more NL East titles than any team that's ever played in what is called the NL East.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't know who the Reds were in the East, right? So they may have won a bunch in the 70s and 80s.
No, it was.
Or were they in the West?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, no, most most titles of the National League East, which was founded in 1969, is the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves did not start playing in the National League East until 1995.
Mm-hmm. Who is second?
I think it might be the Phillies or the Cardinals.
Phillies.
Phillies have 11.
Yeah. Braves have 16.
Oh, no, the Cardinals the Cardinals were an Eastern team, but they only have 3. Yeah, so it's the Phillies. Awk.
Not bad.
Yeah, not too fucking bad. That's all I got for today.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
See you.